Welcome back. In order to respond to messages that the user is going to send to us, we need to have some kind of a database or possible messages or an array of expected messages that the user is going to send us. And the process message will use that array. Therefore, I'm going to create an array of objects just here, var array of possible messages. These are messages. This should be possible. It will contain as many expected messages as possible. And the structure will not just be an array, it will be an array of objects. So it will contain objects. Each object will have a message, the expected message, and it will also have the response. Here, response. So we will have messages and the response. For example, if we expect that the user is going to send us, how are you? How are you? Then our response should be, we are great, or I am great, or something like that. I am great, I'm fine, something like that. And we keep on adding as many as possible, because the more we have, the better our application will be, because we will be able to respond to as many questions or statements or texts that the user is going to send us. And I'm gonna always use the small letter. Let's also add another message, a couple of other message and response. Here, message and response. And let's say that if the user sends us hi, then our response should be hi as well. If the user sends us, who are you? Who are you? Then we should here type, I am your assistant. And of course, this array of possible messages should be used in the process message. So we will get the message that the user is going to send us, and we call the process message, and we will try to match the message that we will get from the user with one of these messages. If we have a match, then we will respond with one of these, with the message that is associated with the message that the user sent us. So for example, if the user sent us, who are you? Then we will try to match it with one of these. Of course, we will find it here. We will match it with this one, with the third element of this array. And we will use the response attribute of the third element, which is I am your assistant. And in order to pull off that, I'm going to be using the filter function of the array class. So what I'm going to do is that once we get the message from the user, I am first going to access the array of possible messages, and then I'm going to call the filter, and then inside the filter we will be filtering this array. We will be filtering this array in order to get a message that is equal, that matches the message sent by the user. So here inside, what I'm going to do is that value, if the value dot message that includes, if it includes the message sent by the user dot message dot to lower with the lowercase, so that we avoid getting no response. And this statement will return only elements in that array that match the message sent by the user. So if the user sends hi, it's going to return this. And then we can use the response, we can access the response key, which contains hi, and then send it to the user, or respond to the user. So here we can say var result equals to this statement, and then finally we can send this result. Of course, this result will be an array. Remember, be careful here. It's an array of our results. So it could contain more than one element. So we need just to get only one element. So what I'm going to do here is result and only the first element. And then we access the response, which is going to be a string, and send it to the user. So here we can say var response equals to this, and we send it to the user using the chat bot send message and pass the response. So let's now test quickly. If I go to the browser and refresh, and let's send this message. Let's send how are you? We should get I am great from the chatbot. So here, if I type how are you, I should get I am great. As you can see, I get the response immediately. Of course, we need to add some delay and stuff like that and some checks, and I'm gonna work on them later. But for now, if you type any message, any of these expected messages, the chatbot will detect them and respond with one of these responses. So if I type hi, if I send, I am gonna get hi back from the chatbot.